Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. In this video, we are going to program an AI zombie horde. So let's look at how the final project is going to look like. Okay, so this is the game that you can see over here. The red is the one that is controlled by the player and the green are the so-called zombies. So as we can see, the zombies are trying to follow us. And if we are caught by these zombies, then the game is over. You can see the score on the bottom right corner. Score is just the time elapsed till survival. Okay, so now let's get caught by the zombies and make a game over. The zombie horde that you saw chasing the player around was programmed using a data structure called a tree. Now, in order to understand a tree, we first need to see what is a graph. A graph is a very useful data structure if we want to model the relationship between a number of different entities. Now, if we consider these entities as nodes, the circle things that you can see over here, and connect these nodes using edges, the ones that you can see over here, then we get a data structure we call the graph. Now these edges represent a relation. It can be any form of relation between any two entities between the given system. For instance, these two nodes are related in some way because they have an edge connecting them. However, these two nodes, or we can say these three nodes, are separate from the rest of the network. This means that they have a certain form of relationship. That is why they do not have an edge between them. But these three nodes have an edge between themselves. Now this complete relationship diagram is represented visually. That's why graphs are really useful to represent such structures. Alright, now tree is a data structure that is a special form of a graph. Now we can note two properties of the graph that we can see over here. The first is that there are certain components of the graph that are not connected to each other. For instance, these two networks. And we can also see that there is a cycle present in this graph. We can see a 4 cycle and a 3 cycle over here. Now, if we impose a constraint on a graph that there should be no not connected components and there should be no cycles, then we get a data structure that we call the tree. Now, a tree has a very special property that we can remark, that if we consider the number of nodes in a tree to be n, the number of edges are going to be n minus 1. This is the discussion of the tree data structure as in, but we also need an algorithm that is applied on graphs in general, or we can say the trees, which is the traversal algorithms. Now these traversal algorithms are required so that we can access every node one by one. If we want to make some computations on each of these nodes one by one, for instance, first we do the calculations on this node, then this node, likewise we want to do the calculations on the nodes, then we use these traversal algorithms. Now there exist multiple types of traversal algorithms, too much for the scope of this video, but the traversal algorithm that we are using is a depth-wise traversal algorithm. What it is going to do, first we start at the root. Now a root can be any node that we have chosen arbitrarily. So we can choose this node arbitrarily as the root. We start from here, then we traverse through the depth of the tree. First we go over through this node, we do some calculations, then we come back and go through this, and likewise we follow this structure and do the computations as the nodes come across. Now this traversal algorithm uses another series of algorithms called recursion. Now recursion is a topic that we can make a complete course out of, but we're simply going to discuss recursion in a brief manner. Now in order to understand recursion, we can consider a very basic problem, that is calculating the factorial. Now what a factorial does, if we apply factorial on an integer, let's say 5, then the factorial function is going to give us the output 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. What it does is, the number that we input, it multiplies it by the numbers that are before it till 1. So recursion can be very easily applied to this problem of factorial. How you would say? For instance, if we want to calculate the factorial of 5, then what we need to do is simply calculate the product of 5 and 4 factorial. Because 4 factorial would eventually give us 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, and that multiplied by 5 is actually giving us the complete 5 factorial. Okay, so let's see this in action now. If we want to calculate 5 factorial, we calculate 5 times the factorial of 4. The factorial of 4 is calculated by 4 times the factorial of 3. Factorial of 3 is calculated by 3 times the factorial of 2. Factorial of 2 is calculated by 2 times the factorial of 1. Now in recursion we also implement what is called a base case. For this problem the base case is factorial of 1. We already know that the factorial of 1 is equal to 1, so we return the output. Now factorial of 1 is equal to 1, so we get 2 times 1 and we keep opening the brackets that we had. 2 times 1, 3 times 2 times 1, 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 and 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Now this is a very basic implementation of recursion on a very simple problem. All in all, what we are doing is we are calling the same function again and again inside a function. The same technique is applied to traversal of trees as well. If we consider this as the root of the tree, then we go on use the traversal algorithm on this node, then we get to this node and then we again apply the same traversal algorithm considering this as the root node. And likewise we do the same for all the nodes till we reach the end of any node, which is the base case in our example. Okay, so this is the complete discussion of the tree and the traversal algorithms. Let's see how this complete algorithm is being used in our horde. Now for our horde, we are using a special type of tree, that is a binary tree. Now what is a binary tree? A binary tree is one that every node has only at max 2 child nodes. As we can see, this node has 2 children, this node has 2 children, this node has 2 children and so on and so forth. So how is the complete horde working? We have this leader present over here that we have at the start, and this leader is programmed to follow the player. Now the children of these leader are programmed to follow their parent. So these two children nodes are actually following this node over here, and we have this following pattern all along. As we can see, this node is being followed by these two nodes, this node is being followed by these two nodes. So this pattern is what actually is going on in the algorithm. So we are using the tree data structure to store all these nodes that we have, or we can say zombies that we have, and we are using the traversal algorithm to instruct each of these nodes to follow their parent. Okay, this is the complete discussion of the tree that we have. Now let's see what is the algorithm that is going on between the following part. Okay, so the algorithm that we are using to follow the different nodes is called an arrive steering behavior. So what is an arrive steering behavior? Now if we assume that this is our target node, the node that we want to follow, and this is our character node, that the one the AI is controlling, what we do is calculate the direction vector between them, which is this vector over here. And then we assign a velocity that is proportional to the magnitude of this vector to this node. Additionally, we also consider two radii around the target node, which is, we can say, the smaller radius and a larger radius. Now when the character node is outside this outer radius, the magnitude or the velocity can take a very high value. But once the node is inside this outer radius, then the velocity can only take a constrained amount of value. And when this character node has crossed the boundary of the inner radius, then we can stop giving it any force. When it has crossed the inner radius, we are assuming that this node has reached its target. So that's how the complete arrive algorithm is working. Okay, now the combination of the tree and the arrive behavior would have completed the complete AI part, but there is one problem that we encounter when we use both these techniques, and that is if we assume that we have a horde of zombies like this present over here and we are following this target, what eventually will occur if we use both these techniques is that all the nodes will converge into 2 or 3 nodes. What I mean by that is if we have a lot of zombies like this present over here, after some time all these zombies will converge and look like we only have 3 zombies that are following us. Now in order to reduce this behavior, we also use another algorithm, that is the separation algorithm. Now this separation algorithm is already discussed in another video, the racing one. I'll put the link in the description for that, but we will briefly go over how this algorithm works. Okay, so how are we using this algorithm in our case over here? Now if we consider these two children node of this parent, so these two are following this node. So what we do, we calculate a separation vector between these two nodes. So if we assume the distance between these two nodes to be r, then the magnitude of these red vectors is going to be inversely proportional to negative of r squared, as you can see over here. Okay, so now we have two vectors that are giving an acceleration to these two particles, which is this attraction vector over here and this separation vector over here. Now what we do is add these two vectors, which will give us the resultant motion of this system. Okay, so this is the vector that gives us the final motion of the particle, and this is the vector that gives us the final motion of this particle. Now as you can see, these two particles will not converge directly but will go off in some other way, and this reduces this problem of convergence that we had over here. Ideally, we should be using this separation algorithm between all the nodes that are present in the system, but I have not yet done this. This is a basic practice project that we have done, and we have only applied a separation algorithm between these two nodes. Now applying this algorithm to this complete nodes is going to be an improvement over this project. Alright, so this is the complete discussion of the algorithm overall that we had in the Zombie Horde AI. Now let's see what are the implementation details. Okay, so we have three things to discuss. The first is the tree, the second is the arrive behavior, and third is the separation algorithm. So let's do this. So we can see we have the tree initialization over here. We by this initialize function. Now since this is a recursive initialization, we are also passing in the root of the tree. So this is the base case for the recursion. If I is less than the number of total nodes, as we can say, then we are not going to run all this code over here and simply return the character. So how are we making this work? First, we are initializing a new tree entity, or we can say a node. A tree entity over here is simply a node for the tree. We're initializing a new tree and assigning it to the character that we passed in the function. Then we are calling this recursively for the left entity and the right entity. We are again calling this function by passing the left entity and the right entity. And this is how the recursion is working to initialize the complete tree structure. Okay, now we have the recursive update function. Now this update function, what it does is actually takes some acceleration from the input and applies it to all the nodes that are present in the tree recursively. Okay, so we have these parameters over here. The first is a reference to the node. We are doing this because we have a recursive algorithm over here. The second is the AI algorithm that is following its parents, that the one that we discussed. The third is the evade. The third is the evade algorithm. This is the separation algorithm that we discussed, and float time is the time instant that we want to follow along. Okay, so the base case is if the character is null, then we are going to return. Programmatically speaking, in a tree, when we are at the leaf node, that is the last node that is present in the tree, then we assume that the left and the right children of that node are equal to a null pointer. Now this null simply represents that we are at the leaf node, and now we can start simply to unwrap the recursion that we followed along. Okay, so here we are computing the steering command, which is the following part, the children following the parent. And here we have the evade algorithm that we have between two sibling nodes. Now there are a lot of if else's over here. This is to avoid any reference that we make to a null object. And after making all these computations, adding up the steering commands, we simply call the update state for the character, and we pass in the steering command for that particular node. Then comes the recursion part. We call the recursive update the same function we are currently in. We call this recursive update for the left node or the left child node and the right child node one by one. So this is how the traversal recursion is working all along. Okay, now let's discuss the arrive steering behavior. So here we are initializing the steering output. Then we calculate the direction and the distance to target. This is done completely over here. So the first check that we do, if we are already in the smaller or inner radius that we discussed, then we simply pass in 0 commands and we return that acceleration. And if we are not inside that smaller radius, then we make some checks if we are inside the outer radius. If we are inside this larger radius, then we simply assign a speed. Well, the variable name is max speed, but it's just an arbitrary speed that we can have. If it is not inside that, then we can arbitrarily increase the speed accordingly or in some linear fashion that we have done over here. And then we calculate the acceleration by making some calculations between the target velocity and the player velocity. We normalize the acceleration using some maximum acceleration that we have, and then we finally return the steering command. So this is how the arriving behavior is working. Okay, so now let's discuss the separation part. We have already done this in a separate video, so we will just go over this briefly. We initialize the steering output. If the distance is less than some threshold distance, then we calculate the strength of repulsion that we have, the magnitude of the vector. Then we simply calculate its negative version. And finally return the steering. So these are the three main parts that were running the AI of the zombie horde. So this is it for this video. If you like the video, please press the like button and subscribe to the channel for more such videos. And thank you for watching. Bye.